Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Sip and Solve. I'm Bonnie Garrity. I'm a team lead for the Solutions Consulting team in Experience Business Information Services. Today, I'll be walking you through how you can optimize portfolio performance during stagflation. I have a cup of tea with me that I'll be sipping throughout the session. I hope you have something good in front of you, too. Since we only have about 15 minutes, let's get right to it. So, what's going on in the economy? The economy is growing, but I know all of you are seeing pain caused by difficulty finding and keeping employees. So you're having staff shortages. We're also seeing supply chain issues caused by COVID, now the war in Ukraine, and new sanctions. This is all further impacted by the rising inflation that we're starting to see. So you possibly, and many clients that I've spoken with, are starting to see your DSO creep up. A lot of that could be due to some of that PPP money drying up, forbearance and deferrals expiring. So, what can you do right now to be more proactive with your portfolio management? I think the challenge really is identifying those risky accounts quickly and accurately. You need to be able to balance your strategy to increase your sales and your revenue, but keeping risk low, keeping your DSO low, and really making sure that you're not going to see any write offs. So, how can you organize or filter your accounts to determine really where the risk lies? How is your score model performing? How do you even measure performance? Some of you may not be able to even see that information. You approve something, 9 months ago. It's really difficult to determine how that performed over time. Are you able to capture those bad accounts? Or with some, I've heard maybe you're being too conservative. Maybe you tightened your credit policy during pandemic, and you never loosened it back up. You're missing some opportunities to increase your revenue. So, how can you increase your model performance while also increasing your team's efficiencies? This is really where model validation comes in. Is your score model performing appropriate? Is it providing you the right balance between risk mitigation and revenue growth? So, what is a validation? Basically, what it is to retro score accounts that you onboarded maybe over the past 12 months. So, look at those accounts at the time that you onboarded them and then measure them against what they look like today and how they performed for you. So when you onboarded them, had you been using, specific score models, would you be able to have anticipated that you would see some issues, either with slow payment or perhaps even a company going out of business? So this is a really nice way, especially where there's a lot of changes occurring within the economy, to compare different models or to make sure that your model is performing the way you want it to. Really fairly simple to do. You do need to provide name, address, city, state, zip code, so that Experian could match to your accounts. And then you're going to provide to us the open date, what you extended to that customer, and then really importantly, how that customer performed for you. We can then do a score model validation for you to determine where you may be able to improve in terms of your policies and strategies. So, what are the scores that Experian is currently recommending? We do have our IntelliScore and our Financial Stability Risk Score. Both of these models have recently been updated to capture new attributes and to take into account some of the items that, some of the things that are occurring within the economy today. So the IntelliScore measures the likelihood of severe delinquency. So, am I going to be paid on time? The financial stability score measures the risk of bankruptcy or complete business closure. Am I going to be paid at all? So these new machine learned models have really seen a nice uptick in performance. The score range actually is larger now. It's from 350 to 800 instead of our traditional 1 to 100. And we're also looking at a longer performance period, 24 months from previous 12 months. So this is a nice model to begin using because of the fact that we're really going to be able to increase the predictive performance. A little bit more information here is that, these scores really allow you to identify your highest risk accounts very clearly and very consistently. It kind of gives you an overall view of your portfolio and allows your team to segment by risk to determine treatment strategies going forward. As you'll see on the screen here, we've moved the score range from 300 to 850. And again, it looks out over a 24-month period as opposed to a 12-month period. Also, that machine learn aspect of the model has actually improved the performance quite significantly. So, what are the market problems that we're trying to address here? With these scores, it can do a number of things for your portfolio management. First of all, reduce risk. It's going to allow you to clearly identify that segment of accounts that's at the highest risk for your team to focus and take different strategies on. You're also going to be able to accelerate your onboarding decisions. You can set policy with these scores. What thresholds, does your customer meet? Whether or not you're going to approve them automatically, maybe automatically decline them, or some of them may be considered that gray area. So you may want to assign those to the analyst team. But that's really where you're going to create those efficiencies because your team is going to be able to focus only on those gray area accounts. You can use this to review your portfolio as well. And this is really what we're focusing on today. That large number of accounts that are currently existing in your portfolio, how can you identify the risk there? It's really, really important, especially with this changing economy, to be able to address those very quickly. And these scores are going to be able to help you identify those. You can improve collections in much the same way by identifying those with the highest risk. You can actually, focus your team on those accounts. And again, identifying opportunities. So making sure that as scores are improving, you're able to expand relationships and increase revenue with specific clients. So again, looking at that portfolio scoring, when you onboarded an account, perhaps it met a certain threshold, and you were able to approve them, but you need to continuously monitor them over time to be sure they still meet the appropriate thresholds. So it could be that, they were paying you well, maybe even they're paying you well today, but they're paying someone else slowly. Or maybe there are some judgments or liens or collections that have been placed on that particular customer. You need to rescore so that you can be aware of where that risk lies. So even if they're paying you, there could be some risk creeping in with other vendors or other public records that you're simply not aware of. So if you're segmenting the portfolio this way, you're going to be able to see where that risk lies and determine how to treat it. This gives you a view of what that might look like. This is a particular account where we took the entire portfolio, scored the IntelliScore, which is, am I going to be paid on time? That's on the left-hand side. And the financial stability risk score, that is, am I going to be paid at all? That's on the right-hand side. At the bottom of your screen, it's looking at both scores together. And this is where the value is. Looking at that bottom left quadrant, it's identifying all of the accounts within this portfolio at highest risk. So those have very low scores for both the IntelliScore and the financial stability score, which is the highest risk accounts. So we really want to focus on those, have the team focus on those accounts to begin collection efforts. The other piece that can be used with your portfolio management is account monitoring or alerts. So this service is available to you within Experian to assist you in identifying events that could be occurring within your customer accounts. Are there late payments occurring? Are there any bankruptcies that I should be aware of? Lien, judgment placements, collection filings. These are items that are going to be indicative of risk and that you may want to be aware of. It's nice that you can set thresholds for these as well. So maybe I only want to see collection filings over $5,000. You can do that. So you don't want to inundate your team with alerts, but you do want them to be aware of the big events. So we would work very closely with you to make sure that your alert program met your needs. These are just a list of some of the alerts that can be available. There's certainly many more, and we would work closely with you to be sure that you got the right set. I also like to recommend that you have an action plan for each alert type so that your team knows what to do when they receive that alert. We can also do an analysis for you based on your portfolio and your customer segment. Which alert triggers are the most predictive of risk? So you can actually then look for early warning signs of some credit deterioration over time and make sure that you are receiving the correct alerts most appropriate for your portfolio. We actually did a white paper on this, and I here have a QR code. You can point your phone at this to download this white paper. You can also go to that web link that's referenced on this page. This is a great white paper, really interesting information. So I encourage you to do that. So what are the key takeaways? First of all, think about validating that scoring model. Make sure that you're ready for a quickly changing economy. Second, use that portfolio management tools to reduce your risk of non-payment by identifying your highest risk accounts. And last, be proactive in your account management by using alert triggers appropriate for your portfolio. Well, that's all I had for you today. Thank you for spending your coffee break with me. Hopefully, I was able to help you think about portfolio management through this quickly changing economy. If you have any questions or want to learn more about what I talked about today, feel free to use the link you see here to chat with us. Also, if you want to get notified of future sessions, make sure you join the list. Now back to work.